Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Just doing a little quick video here on where I'm at on the G7107. We had a lot of wind this weekend. I was planning on doing some more painting, but every time I'd open the window, the dust would come in. So I did a little bit of painting. But here's where we're at right this second. I got all the wheels done. I haven't actually put any varnish on these yet, so I don't want to handle them too much. Here's our frame, all in the olive drab, and here's all of our wheels. Here's the rears and the fronts and the spare, all good to go. I still have the mask on the inside because I want to, I want to spray them with a flat clear to protect them a little bit better, and then I'll take the mask off. But the frame turned out great, I think. The wheels all turned out great. I did get all the engine parts primed, but I don't think I'll probably be doing any painting today. We've got about 50-mile-an-hour winds going right now, and a 100% chance of rain. So really don't want to open the window to do any spraying. But I got that finished, or nearly finished, as soon as I put some clear on it. And then I've got lots and lots of parts for the next few steps cleaned and ready to go. So I've been busy doing that. So we'll and there's, oh, that's for the tires. Okay. So even though we can't do a whole lot of painting right now, I can still put a lot of parts together. I started kind of fitting the cab and things. That's going to be real interesting. I think it's going to look really good when it's done, but some of the parts are warped a little bit and the fit's not real good. I spent a lot of time getting everything just right, but I'll show you as we go. Anyway, I did video most of the painting, so I'll put a time lapse up here, and I'm going to attempt a voiceover just to see how it works. This will be the first time I'm trying it, so bear with me, and I'll be right back. And I'll keep the painting fairly short. I'll do a time lapse so it doesn't take too long and bore you guys, but just want to kind of see how it works. All right, be right back, guys. Thank you. Okay, guys, I'm recording this with my cell phone, so we'll see how this works. I'm using a brand new bottle of Vallejo black surface primer, and I did put some marine grade stainless steel balls in it to make it easier to shake. So here's the tires. One thing I do with Vallejo, since I paint strictly with Vallejo, I spray and I use the airbrush to dry. So I'll spray a little and I'll dry a little. It's real hard to show in this video, but they say the best way to do Vallejo is to give it a real light coat and then let it dry, then a little more and let it dry. I generally do about 3 coats. So that's the way I spray anyway. Everybody has their own ideas, but Vallejo actually dries to the touch real quick, but it's kind of rubbery for a couple of days, so you got to be real gentle with it for a while. And then once it's dry, you can sand it and do all kinds of things with it. But here's the black primer going on the tires. I have the masks on where I don't want any black, where there'll be glue joints. So that's the first step. I have a piece of cardboard there. I cut up old cereal boxes, and I save a big chunk of cardboard, and they're great for laying parts out on, that kind of thing, when I'm spraying in the booth. That way I can pick things up and move them around without actually touching any more than I have to. Okay, here goes the gray. It's the Panzer Aces dark rubber. This you have to thin, so I thinned it with Vallejo paint thinner, airbrush thinner, and just a drop or two of the flow improver. I'm spraying at about 15 to 18 psi with my Iwata Eclipse HPCS, and the paint goes down great. No issues whatsoever, no sputtering. I had a lot of problems with sputtering with my Iwata Neo. That's kind of one of the reasons why I spray off the part before I actually spray it, is because I'm so used to having an airbrush that sputters that that I'm kind of cautious. Okay, the next day, here's the parts all masked up, and here goes the olive drab. The olive drab is the Vallejo Model Airline US Olive Drab 71.043. I didn't use any thinner or any flow improver at all. It sprayed beautifully. And there again, I'm spraying and I'm drying, spraying and drying. I don't just blast the paint on. And, everybody's got their own technique. Whatever works for you, that's great. But a lot of times I'll spray a little and then I'll dry a little, and then spray a little and dry a little. Doesn't take very much to do that little part there, but a lot of what you're seeing me doing is just drying with the airbrush. When I move on to the frame, I actually get my hairdryer going because it's a little bit bigger surface, and I use the hairdryer just to let it dry, to the touch, so I can handle the frame to move it around. Here we go with the frame. This is the black surface primer again. No thinning, no flow improver. Works beautiful right out of the container. Just make sure it's shaken real well. About 15 to 18 psi. Frames like this are kind of hard to paint because there's so many nooks and crannies. You got to go over it a bunch of times to make sure you don't miss anything. So that I did one end and then I dried it. I believe I used the hair dryer with this a little bit. Just making sure I get all the little spots. And then I'll go on to the other end. I'm very happy with the airbrush. I've only had it a short time. I've just barely practiced with it, but it really does a nice job. But I'm spraying and drying. I think here's the hair dryer. Just making sure that I get the surface somewhat dry so I can handle it. Must have seen another spot there that I'd missed. Very, very easy. Going over it. I generally try and do about 3 coats. Okay, and then I'll flip it around and I'll get the other end. This is a 3 times speed time lapse, so I think you can pretty well see what I'm doing without it being too fast. I do have the masks on over the brake drums because I want to make sure that surface stays clear so I can glue it later. It's not a good idea to glue through your paint because the paint dissolves and it makes kind of a gooey mess. And I do have a mask on the little bracket there that holds the spare tire, so I don't get any paint on that. I may need to do a little touching up with that later, but we'll see how it comes out. So there's the black, and then we'll do the olive, and that'll be the end of the video. Apparently I've got just a little more black here. All right, we're going to call that good. And then I put it on my cardboard, so I don't really have to handle it too much. Here we are back with the olive drab. This is the next day. So I shook it up really good. This is no thinner, no flow improver, straight out of the bottle, and it goes down beautifully, about 18 psi. Just take your time, try and get all the nooks and crannies. The nice thing about having a black base is if you miss something in a little corner or something, it basically just kind of looks like a shadow. So let me know, guys, if you enjoy this. It's kind of interesting to, I can talk without actually doing the work at the same time. Kind of frees me up a little bit for thinking about what I'm going to say. But, I really like the Vallejo line. I've got a fair number of their paints right now, and I intend to get a bunch more. So the olive drab goes down really nice. There are going to be just a few places on the frame where other things will glue, and I'll just have to scrape the paint just a little bit in a couple spots. Or you can use CA glue for the really tiny parts. That's perfectly good. Just you don't want to be gluing, put extra thin right on the paint to glue things together, because it's not a real good practice. So anyway, as you guys all know, what's going on is this is made by a company in the Ukraine, and things are not good over there right now. So we hope that one of these days they'll be able to go home and get back to their lives and their jobs and their families. And so if you're thinking about buying a kit, consider one from the Ukraine. They make some beautiful models, and have quite a few subjects. I've got a number of their model kits, and I've built a number of their models, so I'm hoping to pick a few more up. I'm afraid they're going to start becoming pretty scarce if this war continues for very long. Run out of paint there. Gonna have to add just a little bit more. Almost got it. Always put the cap on. I've spilled paint on me and the parts too many times. I don't leave that cap off. So we got it just about done. Just catching a few little spots here, and there goes the hairdryer again. I've heard of people using food dehydrators to dry paint. If I could pick up a small used one, I might give that a try someday. Basically, it's just like a king-size hairdryer, but you put your part in the food dehydrator for a little while, and you can save a lot of time in letting things dry before you can mask and overcoat with varnish and that type of thing. It's something I may look into sometime in the future, but there's the frame all done, and here comes the wheels.